UFC Vegas 104 Vittori versus Dolidze. This is the Funk and Flex MMA preview and prediction show. A breakdown and picks of the entire UFC Vegas 104 card. While you're here, drop a like on the thumbs up button down below. Hit subscribe so you can see this video come out every week. All of my preview and prediction shows for every card, as well as the betting breakdowns every Friday. Those come out at 8:30 Eastern every Wednesday and Friday. I got great picks that have been starting out the year. We've been red hot, even though we're only coming off of a 6-4 week at UFC 313. We did turn profit again, and we look to continue the 59-34-1 record that we have on the 2025 year. Something that I don't take lightly, and I am thrilled to continue to give you guys the best insight in the MMA game on the internet. So make sure you drop that thumbs up button as a tip. It is greatly appreciated. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into the first fight of the night. We have a matchup between Eunice Dubin and Carly Judice. Dubin making her debut, Judice only in her third fight. Not a ton of UFC tape on these girls. However, Dubin with the stellar knockout in the first round against Shannon Clark on her Dana White Contender Series fight. Something that 125 pounds you don't see a ton of, putting people straight to sleep. And Dubin did just that in the Dana White Contender Series fight. However, I think that Carly Judice might be the pick here. I think she's got the more experience in the cage, even though the record may not show that with only looking to be a 3-2 record. It looks like Dubin has the more experience, but she really has fought a bunch of nobodies. Judice fought a couple of tough competitors with Katakate and Fernandez in the last two, both coming off of wins after Judice as well, and she had a split decision. So I do rate her losses over the last two higher than I rate Dubin's wins, even though Dubin's knockout over Shannon Clark is probably the most impressive win amongst both of them. Enough rambling on this fight. I'm leaning Judice as the early pick, but it's not a very confident one. Moving along, we have Josiane Nunez versus Priscilla Cachoeira, and I've got to favor Josiane Nunez in this one. She had a great performance against Cavalcanti in her last fight, even though it was a loss. I do like the boxing of Nunez, and I think that over 3 rounds, her durability and cardio is really going to shine in this spot. Go ahead and give me Nunez to win a dominant decision or maybe even a late finish if Cachoeira does not come game to take this fight. Nunez has that dog in her, and she really tested a promising prospect in Cavalcanti, who many people are high on and think could make a run for the belt. Nunez had a lot of people sweating that decision, so she'll be the pick for the second fight of the card. Up next, Daniel Bairez and Andre Lima. Bairez, I'm surprised, is nearly a 3-1 dog, but I do think Andre Lima is the pick here. Bairez has some strong boxing combinations and some decent power early on in fights, but he does have a cardio issue, and that is the concern against Andre Lima, who really is finding a way to put it together. 3 fights in the UFC already, 10-0 record, and I know this has been the year of fading the undefeated prospects, but I think Andre Lima is the exception here. He will be the pick, as I think that his technical striking and if he needs to, his grappling will get him the job done. Go Andre Lima for a decision. Up next, we have Stephanie Luciano and Sam Hughes. As bad as I want to pick Sam Hughes, and I do think that she's a good underdog in this situation, especially this matchup against Luciano, I think Luciano's just going to do enough here. I wouldn't mind holding a plus 200 ticket in my pocket when I do think it's going to go to a split decision. But I think Luciano, the more attractive fighter here, the UFC is going to want to push her more. And she does just have the all around more technical skill set, better striking abilities, where Sam Hughes is more of a gritty wrestler, kind of overpower and clinch game you. I don't think that she's going to be able to do enough with the technicality and speed of Luciano on the feet. So that being said, we're going Luciano as the pick for this fight on the card. Moving along, we have Carlos Vera versus Josias Musasa. And while the lean is Musasa, it's not a very confident pick. and I'm nowhere near where the money makers are on this fight. At minus 900, Musasa is just insanely overpriced. And I think that while I tend to look at him if the odds are not in the picture, with the plus 525 price tag next to Carlos Vera's name, he's going to be very intriguing as he's an MMA instructor and a jiu-jitsu teacher himself. Very high caliber jiu-jitsu grappling game, black belt a few times over. I think Vera at 37 years old might have what it takes to give Musasa a veteran check, especially at plus 500 odds. The pick from a neutral standpoint will stay Musasa, as I think that he's got the more technical striking ability and may be able to use his athleticism to stuff the takedowns. I do tend to favor plus 500 underdog when it comes to the betting breakdown show, though. So for the early lean, we'll go Musasa. Keep an eye out for Friday to see how we're going to play this fight. Up next, we have Su Young Yu versus AJ Cunningham. And this one is enticing enough for me to take the dog money here, pick AJ Cunningham. He is fluctuated over the weight classes. He fought Ludovic Klein on short notice at 155. And even though he did get knocked out, it was shots to the body. And I actually really like AJ Cunningham's durability and dog mentality. Su Young Yu, an overrated grappler here at a minus 650 favorite, is just absolutely insane as he's beaten a bunch of cans on the road to UFC and even been knocked out against some of these people that aren't anywhere near actual UFC level. I'm going to go AJ Cunningham as a mispriced line here for the pick in this fight. Moving along to the featured prelim, we have Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ryan Spann. Heavyweight Ryan Spann is going to be the pick for this fight. Even though he's a live or die on his shield kind of fighter, I like that in a matchup against Waldo Cortez Acosta, who can get caught being too passive. I think Ryan Spann's live for a first round sub here, as Cortez Acosta went to mix in the grappling and takedowns against a dangerous opponent in Robelis de Spain, who's now was cut from the UFC, lost his last two fights in the UFC, has been absolutely murdering people in karate combat. I don't well, I don't think Ryan Spann is anywhere near the level of striking that Robelis de Spain has and physical freak. I think Ryan Spann can really implement his takedowns here. And if he doesn't get the takedowns, I think he'll be able to eat some of the volume from Cortez Acosta and deliver, that blow or that submission, whatever needs to be done. I think Ryan Spann is more live to finish. And in a heavyweight fight, that to me is what's more important. Cortez Acosta does have the volume, but I don't think it's going to be enough to surpass Ryan Spann. Give me heavyweight Ryan Spann for the pick in the featured prelim of this card. Up to the main card, we have a matchup between Sung Woo Choi and Kevin Vallejos. And I'm going to go with Vallejos to get this done here. I really like his crisp boxing. A minus 600 favorite is a little bit extreme, but this one is more warranted than the other extreme price tags that I've seen earlier on this card. Choi really a grappler and not the greatest wrestler, so I don't think that he's going to be able to get the fight where he needs to against Vallejos, who is really just the more crisp striker. So not going to waste too much more time on this one. Vallejos is the pick on this one, even at a minus 600 price tag. Moving along, we have a matchup between DR Nergazier and Brendison Ribeiro. And well, I am not sold on Nergazier's talent. I am definitely less sold on Ribeiro's durability. Ribeiro has the body and build of a freak specimen at 205 with an 81-inch reach at 6 feet 3. I think that Nergazier is good enough to beat Ribeiro, as Ribeiro's chin is proven to just not be what it needs to be to fight at this weight class. And Nergazier, a tough, durable fighter, has good striking and quick high kicks for his size, as we saw in his Contender Series knockout win. I like him to get it done here. I think he can mix in wrestling if he needs to, and he'll be the pick for this second fight on the main card. Moving along, we have Alex Hernandez and Kurt Holoba. Uh, this is a tough fight, and it's not a very confident pick. I think they're very equal skill sets here, but I'm going to lean Alex Hernandez as the slightly better fighter. What worries me is I think Kurt Holloway has the better durability and the better cardio. So if Hernandez isn't able to find a win early on, I do think Kurt Holloway is live to get a decision or a late finish. I think Hernandez here, though, switching up gyms, even though it's not the first time. Under Trevor Whitman training with Justin Gaethje, I like Alex Hernandez to get this done, training with other good lightweights in that gym. We're going Hernandez as a low confidence pick. On to the featured fight of the main card, we got Damon Blackshear and Cody Gibson. And this one for me feels like a Blackshear get right spot. The odds makers obviously feel the same way, as a minus 465 price tag's a little bit insane. I think Blackshear's just better everywhere. Definitely the better grappler, where Cody Gibson does like to get it to the ground when he's in trouble, or when his cardio starts to run low late in fights. Blackshear can give him problems and jump on a choke. Or if he keeps it on the feet, I think Blackshear's the crisper striker too. I think he's the more versatile striker that throws more volume and probably has more power. And when you have that trifecta, it's tough to lose the fight. So I'm going to go Blackshear as the pick. On to the co-main event, we have Chidi Njokuani versus Zaleski dos Santos. I'm going to go Ezekiel Zaleski dos Santos here. The older fighter, not by much, is Njokuani. He's 36 years old. And while dos Santos does have a significant reach disadvantage, I like him to mix the wrestling in here. Njokuani is definitely going to be live for an early KO. His striking is, pretty good with those long arms. I don't think it's good enough to keep the distance, though, from dos Santos, like a Randy Brown did. Randy Brown even had some tough moments against dos Santos, who really just keeps that pressure on and brings the fight to you. Njokuani not the same level of distance striker that Randy Brown is, and I think that he's going to struggle this matchup to keep the distance. So for a co-main pick, go ahead and give me the veteran Ezekiel Zaleski dos Santos. On to the main event of Vegas 104. We have Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze 2. And not to give you guys really what you saw from the first fight, but I think Vettori's going to get it done again here, as he's just the better overall fighter. Similar skill sets for these guys, even though Dolidze would probably prefer to get it on the ground. Vettori just too strong to hold down. And Dolidze, not someone who can really get those early finishes unless he's on that top pressure like we saw over Kevin Holland with just ground and pound strikes from the top. He's not going to be able to do that to Vettori. And the cardio of Vettori is unmatched with no cracks shown in his chin. I think Vettori is going to be able to get it to the late rounds. If not, he is the one that's more likely to get the finish early. So Vettori has to be the pick here. Dolidze just not built for a 5-round fight. I think Vettori is. He's shown it time and time again that he has some of the best cardio at 185, and he's a confident pick here going into this main event. After a loss from Pereira last week, we still had a decent card, guys. So I appreciate all the support you still shown me. Love in the comments. Really, I haven't really prone to the trolls that we see online and other channels. So I'm really grateful for that. If you don't mind, just drop that thumbs up button on the way out. Continue to show love. Follow me at Funk and Flex MMA on the Instagram to see the full card posted every Saturday. And then hit subscribe on your way out as well so you can get notifications. Videos dropping this Friday for the betting breakdown at 8:30. The second part of my double-headed weekly content that comes out for every UFC card. Again, thanks for the support, guys, and we'll see you all Friday. Until then, stay funky.